Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we are going to be doing another topic discussion. And that, for today, I guess I decided to talk about, is the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Becoming a little bit more stale? Now, and what things can you do to spice the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Up when it becomes stale? I did do a video about a year ago talking about things you can do to spice the game up if you feel that it's boring. Battle packs are one thing you can do. Playing old school formats is another thing you can do if you feel the game is stale. Playing, fun decks, like I always try to do. Play fun decks is another way of keeping the game from going stale for you personally as a player. Trying older decks out, trying to make older decks or older ideas work. These are different things you can do to keep the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fresh for yourself. But putting that aside, we're going to be talking about in this video, has the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Becoming a little bit stale, and what things you can Konami do, and what things we can do, maybe as a player base or something like that nature, to make the game more fresh, I guess you could say. Now, granted, ARG has tried this to some extent by making their own ban list to keep the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fresh, but personally, I'm not going to go dwelling into that mess with ARG. But that's one thing that some people have said, that's a way to keep the game fresh as well. I'm just going to put that out there. But has the game been getting stale? As of right now, as of this day, doing this video, the ban list has not come out yet. So as of right now, the decks that are still dominating are Necros, Burning Abyss. I still love Burning Abyss, even though I know they're very powerful. Don't hate. I love the idea, the theme. That's what I'm trying to say. Burning Abyss, all those decks, your Clees, your Stella Knights, your Shadows, all this. All these decks have been doing good for the last year, and yet Konami hasn't done a bloody thing really to touch any of these powerful decks that have been around for a year. Now, some people hypothesize that the Megatins that are coming out literally, I think, tomorrow, is the reason why they haven't touched them. They're waiting for the Megatins, and then 2 weeks from then, a couple of days down the road, they'll say, "Up, ban list time." But let's look at Konami in the past to see what they've done. Konami in the TCG has been more passive, so to speak. They'll let decks just run their course and run their time. If they're overly powerful, they'll touch them and tap them on the shoulder and say, "Hey, stop that." But look at Hand Artifact Trap Tricks last year and Fire Effect Artifact Trap Tricks last year. They didn't touch those decks at all. They touched More Tech, but they didn't touch More Tech until December of that year. Is what I'm trying to say here, guys, is Konami's not known to always hit the best decks every season. They'll sometimes just let power creep take over. But you look at the next couple of sets and you say to yourself, what is going to change? These decks are going to keep on topping. I personally feel like the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is somewhat at a crossroads at this moment. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong on this, but looking at the OCG and sitting here in the TCG and looking at it, I feel a couple of things. And I already made a video prior to this talking about my thoughts on pendulums and whatnot, and my thoughts on the future of pendulums. That should be up in a couple of weeks. You'll see that video. But I talked about the Magician pendulums that are coming out in December. And you also have to forget that coming out in the Megatin soon, tomorrow, literally episode, probably about, most of you guys will be seeing this the day the tins come out. Norden is coming out. Now people say, well, Norden, Norden ain't gonna be doing squat, There's not many decks that can play Norden. Let's not kid ourselves here, ladies and gentlemen. Norden is a good card. Along with Instant Fusion, decks will find a way to use it. Lower tier decks will find a way to use it. Heaven knows if some weird chicken race FTK, OTK deck comes out of the works with Norden in it. We don't know. Don't, be saying the fat lady's singing already when the fat lady hasn't even made it to the stage yet, so to speak, is what I'm trying to say here. People said, a couple of weeks ago, a month or two ago, oh, Clown Blade, the Clown engine is dead because Lavava Chain is banned. What happened, excuse me? Oh yes, clowns are being played in just about everything at this moment this video is being made. Yeah, we have been known to make mistakes. We are only humans, okay? But personally, I feel like that Norden may have, or Norden, or Nodin, or whatever you want to call him, His Highness, it may be, I think, having a more impact on the game than people admit. I think it's going to give a fresh take on the game. It's going to make people think creatively about decks that can play Norden, and things of that nature. And then you looked a little bit down the road. I mean, we got high-speed riders coming out soon. Some fun decks can be built with those. Then you also look a little bit further down the road past that. You have the Magician Pendulums coming out. Look how effective. We don't have all the Magician Pendulums necessarily, but that made them good in the OCG, excuse me. But I feel that that deck is going to really introduce pendulums to the masses, so to speak. I know Queopults and we have Noble Knights and Zephyrs and all that stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, introduce to the masses is, it's going to be readily available to many players. They're not going to be expensive rarities, so to speak, in a way. And it's going to show a lot more things about what the pendulum mechanic can do by synchro summoning and things of that nature. It's going to make it more interesting. And that's what I feel like. I feel that the game, if a ban list comes out and does a couple of things, cool. But I feel like the game is about to take a change to being more creative. Pendulums are going to start taking over more, I think, in the coming months. And it may not be the next 3 months. What I'm talking about is I'm saying going into next year, it's going to become more interesting, I feel like, personally. We're going to be having, just look at the new archetypes coming out, so to speak, or semi-archetypes coming out in the next 2 sets. We got a BLS archetype. Who ever thought there would be a BLS archetype in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh? I didn't. We're going to also have a Buster Blader archetype. That's cool too. We're going to be having newer things come in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh that you can play around and try with. We're going to have Magi Specters coming out soon. That's going to be an interesting cat to deal with and a fun deck to deal with all on its own. So what I'm trying to say is here, I have a feeling that if Konami just touches some of the decks that are out right now, just a little bit, we may say, oh my gosh, they should have done more, but I feel that the newer decks coming out, to some extent, and the way the game's going to go, and looking at the OCG, if you look at the OCG just as a format that maybe is 5 months, 6 months down the road, you can get an idea of what the game is going to become like to some extent, even though it's 2 different games completely at the moment. You get an idea of what the game is going to eventually somewhat be here in the TCG, possibly. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens, but I do feel like the game is going to become more fresh and more interesting. And until then, until that time, I would highly suggest to anybody, do those things that I said at the beginning of the video. If you feel like the game is stale, apologize for hitting the tripod, but play fun decks, play interesting decks. Try to make like I did with Armed Dragon and Mazza the Zapper a couple of months ago. Take a mechanic or a card and try to make a fun deck out of it. Make this game interesting. You're going to have more fun in this game by playing for fun than you are from just playing competitively. Now, people may say, "Why I play competitively because I want to win." Granted, I love to win just as much as the next guy, but you can't take it to heart all the time. From playing this game for freaking 13 years, you can't take it to heart. Eventually, you come to a point where you say, "I lost, so be it. Move on to the next game." It's like water off a duck's back. Don't let it get to you. Just keep on playing. If you want to play competitively, you got to think in that same mindset, so to speak. You learn from it. Learn from it. Don't just say, "Oh, I lost. It was my deck's fault." It was. Just say, "Okay, I did this. I did this. I did this. That's why I lost." It wasn't because he just top decked. Sometimes yes, that's the case, but learn from it. And those are just my thoughts as I end this video, guys. Just remember to have fun in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! When it gets stale. Enjoy it. Play fun and wonky decks. Enjoy it, because if you're playing this game, you're playing it for fun, most likely. You want to play, you have a reason why you're playing. And most of us play for fun and enjoyment like I do. So I feel like after playing this game for so many years, we want to enjoy this game because we are invested in it as a community and as individuals. So just how I'm going to end today's video, guys. But yes, like I said, I feel like the game is stale at the moment. Personally, yes, I do feel like it. Every time I get on YouTube, it's the same thing to some extent. But I do feel like it's going to become more lively in the coming weeks and months. So, till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and I do apologize, I'm still sick in today's video, so that's why you probably hear me sound a little bit nasally and having to blow my nose a little bit, because I'm having trouble breathing out of my nostrils. Excuse me. So I do apologize to you guys. But till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling. I'll see all of you guys next time. Seto Kaba, I'm out of you guys, and good luck dueling to all of you.